For 48 years, Voyager 2 has drifted farther than any human creation, a silent messenger slipping beyond the warmth of the sun. For decades, its data was predictable, steady: particle counts, plasma waves, cosmic rays, the normal hum of deep space. But then came the transmission that changed everything. The signal wasn't supposed to exist. It arrived distorted, fragmented, carrying frequencies that didn't align with any known system. When decoded, it revealed not words or numbers, but a pulse, an intricate pattern, deliberate, rhythmic, like breathing. At first, engineers assumed interference, maybe a solar flare or cosmic static. But when the signal repeated every 19 hours with mathematical precision, the room went silent. It wasn't random. It was structured. When analysts transformed the signal into a visual format, they didn't see stars or dust or plasma arcs. They saw symmetry. A configuration of light and shadow that formed a shape so precise it couldn't be natural. Angular lines intersected in fractal geometries, folding in on themselves like reflections trapped in glass. It wasn't an image, it was an equation, a living diagram written in light. And at its center, a faint curvature of dark space that seemed to pull everything inward. The strangest part wasn't what was in the image. It was what surrounded it. No background noise, no stars, no void radiation. Just absence, as if the object had erased space around itself. When they compared Voyager's positional data, they discovered that the signal originated from beyond the heliopause, far outside the solar wind's reach, yet it arrived with the intensity of something much closer. Almost as if it wasn't sent across distance at all, but folded directly into existence beside the probe. Shortly after the transmission, Voyager's sensors detected a distortion in local magnetic fields. A wave, subtle but undeniable, rippled outward and back again, as though the universe itself had blinked. The probe's instruments began to drift, reporting conflicting spatial readings, its distance from the sun fluctuating by fractions of a second light speed, then stabilizing, then shifting again. For a moment, it appeared as if Voyager had been displaced, not moved, but slightly misaligned with the space it once occupied. NASA classified the anomaly and quietly recalibrated the antennas. But data leaks always find a way. A group of independent astronomers captured fragments of the same pulse on private receivers. When they converted it to audio, they described it as a hum that seemed to vibrate inside the bones, low and steady, carrying harmonics that triggered unease, even nausea. Some said it sounded almost like a voice, not speaking, but waiting. Then something even stranger occurred. As Voyager continued transmitting, deep-sea monitoring stations on Earth began picking up identical low-frequency tones echoing through the oceans. Not loud, not consistent, but enough to register across multiple sensors at the same rhythm as the interstellar pulse. It was impossible. Whatever was reaching Voyager seemed to be resonating here, inside our own planet's atmosphere and water. When data from the probe's magnetometer was cross-referenced with seismic records, a pattern emerged. Tiny vibrations, measured in microseconds, rippling through Earth's magnetic field in perfect synchrony with the probe's signal bursts. Scientists called it coincidence. Others called it contact. Weeks later, the signal changed. It became more complex, layered tones modulated with prime number sequences, expanding outward like a countdown. Attempts to decode it caused unexpected behavior in analysis software. Programs froze, corrupted, even crashed completely when running the decryption algorithms. Hardware failures followed, and in one case, a power grid blackout coincided with a data attempt. The code wasn't just information, it was doing something. A research team in Germany tried converting the data into a three-dimensional projection. What appeared was a lattice of pulsating nodes, each connecting to others in shifting sequences. It wasn't random, It resembled neural activity, a brain-like structure composed of energy patterns. But when they left the model running overnight, the system began generating new data that wasn't in the original file. The pattern was self-replicating, evolving. Voyager's trajectory then shifted by less than a degree. Not enough to suggest collision or interference, but just enough to point its antenna away from Earth. The signal strength weakened, but never faded entirely. Engineers tried to reorient it remotely, but the probe didn't respond. For all practical purposes, Voyager 2 was alive, listening to something we couldn't hear. Days later, radio telescopes in Australia caught a faint echo. The pulse had changed direction, no longer coming from Voyager's coordinates, but from interstellar space behind it. Something else was sending it now. Something enormous, invisible, and silent. It was using Voyager as a relay. When scientists attempted to triangulate the new source, they found nothing visible, no light, no heat, no radiation. Yet gravitational mapping revealed a distortion the size of a small moon. The anomaly moved inconsistently, sometimes faster than physics allowed, other times pausing completely when observed. Like a shadow that only exists when you look at it. Inside NASA, whispers spread about an earlier incident, an encrypted note from 1981 that mentioned a self-replicating signal fragment, received weeks after Voyager's launch. It had been dismissed as noise. But the phrasing in the log matched the current data perfectly. It wasn't the first time. It was the second. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the pulse stopped. Voyager's transmission returned to normal. The probe drifted silently through the dark again, its system stable, its sensors calm. Everything appeared fine. Until the plasma wave instrument picked up one final, faint echo. A single tone. When converted to sound, it was simple, almost human, 3 ascending notes, followed by a pause. Then, faintly, a whisper buried in the static. Not words, just a vibration shaped like a word. Analysts ran it through every linguistic model, every modulation filter. Only one result ever matched. A translation too close to coincidence to ignore. It said, "Still watching." The message was archived, buried, and officially denied. Voyager 2 continues to drift beyond our reach, its golden record still carrying humanity's greetings to the stars. But somewhere in the darkness, something has heard us. And now, it knows how to speak back.